An independent candidate who came up short in his bid to win a Senate seat in Nebraska is seeking to change the type of politician typically elected to office. You may remember Dan Osborn, recently who ran in Nebraska. He's now launched the Workingclass Heroes Fund, a political action committee aimed at recruiting more blue-collar workers like himself to run for office on both sides of the aisle. This comes just weeks after Republican incumbent Deb Fischer defeated Osborne by about 7 points to retain her Senate seat in Nebraska, but not until after he gave her a bit of a run for his money, her money. Dan, you know what I mean. Dan Obsorn joins us now. Mr. Osborne, great to have you with us. Tell us a little bit more about this super PAC and when you decided to start it.
Yeah, it wasn't shortly after my defeat that we decided we wanted to take the momentum and keep it going. I still believe that our Congress and our governments, whether that's local or federal, should look like us. And by that, I mean, people who know what it's like to put Christmas on a credit card and punch a clock that's worked 60, 78 hours a week like I have my whole life.
Put Christmas on a credit card. That's a telling and certainly relevant one to a lot of people. You've said that your super PAC's recruitment of working class candidates is going to be nonpartisan. So what in particular are you looking for in potential candidates you'd support besides a blue-collar background?
Yeah, it's similar to my run. We brought Republicans and Democrats and independents together in my state of Nebraska. I did 180 publicly advertised events, and we just focused on issues and not party politics. So that's what I want to be focused on. I would love to support independents as well as Republicans, Democrats, veterans, union members. People who, again, they know what it's like and they just want to have a worker agenda and not a corporate agenda. That's what's really important to me. And you can go to workingclassheroes.fund and you can submit a candidate if you have an idea and you're watching this and you know somebody that should be running for even local dog catcher. You can put them on there.
Those are important positions. It basically sounds like you're saying basically, if you're someone to say who's in a union, who works paycheck to paycheck, or just doesn't espouse the sort of more traditional, either legal or corporate background that many politicians often have, that's someone you're interested in supporting and learning more about?
Correct, because that's somebody, that's kind of what I ran off of was I would be able to approach, and somebody like me would be able to approach an issue with a little bit different viewpoint than you were if you were a lawyer or a business exec, for example.
As you know, endorsements from labor unions seem to favor Vice President Harris and the Democratic Party far more than President-elect Trump and Republicans. As a former union leader, someone who's been active in organized labor for a while, can you explain this sort of growing disconnect between those official endorsements and how working class people actually ultimately vote?
Yeah, I really can't. I think rank and file union members, in my experience, which I am one of them, is just fall right in line with the demographics of where they live and their state. And they certainly, talk to each other every single day and they have their viewpoint and they observe their world based off of, their immediate surroundings. And that's all I can account for that. I'm not a political analyst by any means. I'm a mechanic. I'm focused right now on going back to work and feeding my family. That's the problem. That's I think why that's why I'm setting up this fund, because a lot of people have a problem with being able to step away from their work and then having to come back if they lose. And I'm on COBRA insurance, so those are the kinds of things I want to help people work through to help get them elected.
Yeah, just real quick, because I was reading that you have had some real-world expenses pile up since you were running, and it's a good reminder that, if people like you are going to do this, there's a real cost personally to being able to do so.
Yeah, I hate to sound like a bad country music song, but my dog almost died right after the election, and I had to fork out a pretty penny to save him. But he's doing well. But yeah, those are real life things that are unexpected that a lot of us simply can't afford, and I had to go into debt to do it.
Well, Dan, thank you so much for sharing some of the details of this early project. Once you start to identify these candidates, come back to us and be interested to hear from them as well. Dan Osborne there in Omaha. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good Thanksgiving.
You too. Take care.